Okay. Okay, we'll start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nastapráyeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavata Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Chaitanyamishwaram Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, welcome all for Bhagavatam discussion. So we are starting a new chapter today, 18th chapter, Canto 1, Maharaj Parishit cursed by Brahmana boy. So can read the sloka as per allocation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes,
I
Prabhuji.
am allotted the first text.
Please go ahead.
Canto
So,
1.
Hare Krishna, Dharat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Canto 1, Chapter 18.
Sloka 1.
Text 1. Suta Vacha. Ya Vai Drani Astra Vipla Drani Astra
Viplasto.
Viplasta Na Matu Udare Mrita Anugrahat Bhagavata Krishnaya Abhuta Karmana. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Vishwaguru A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada J. Translation. Sri Suta Goswami said, due to mercy of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who acts wonderfully, Maharaja Parikshit, though struck by the weapon of son of Drona in his mother's womb, could not be burned. Purport. The sages of Naimisharya became struck Naimisharnya became struck with wonder after hearing about the wonderful administration of Maharaja Parikshit, especially in the reference to his punishing the personality of Kali and making him completely unable to do any harm within the kingdom. Suta Goswami was equally anxious to describe Maharaja Parikshit's wonderful birth and death, and this verse is stated by Suta Goswami to increase the interest of the sages of Naimisharnya. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So in the previous chapter, we discussed how Kali personified comes in the disguise of a king and attacks the bull. And there is a discussion between Mother Earth in the form of a cow and Dharma in the form of bull, and Parishit Maharaj who punishes the Kali. And finally, the Kali has asked, where do I live? So Parishit Maharaj says, where there is no intoxication, there is no meat eating, there is no gambling, there is no illicit sex. That's the place you can stay. Then Kali says that in your kingdom, I cannot see that kind of place. So give me another place. So then Parishad Maharaj says, where there is excess gold, that's the place you can stay. So the discussion happens. So, and finally, Kali surrenders to Parishad Maharaj. So that chapter ends, and how also how wonderfully Parishad Maharaj managed the kingdom. So that's the previous chapter. Now, this sages named Sharanya hearing from Sutta Goswami. So here says some named Sharanya were struck with the wonderstruck with the explanations of Parishad Maharaj's the rulings and his justice. So similarly, Prabhupada says here in the Sutta Goswami also anxious to explain the pastime of Parishad Maharaj, what happened, how he took birth, and what happened in his life. So that's pastime is now going to unfold in our next discussion. Okay, next Loka, somebody can read.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Srimad Bhagavatam 1.18.2 Brahma kopitayastu takshakaat prana vipalavat na sammumo horo bayad bhagavate arpita sayah. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Furthermore, Maharaja Parikshit was always consciously surrendered to the personality of Godhead, and therefore he was neither afraid nor overwhelmed by fear due to a snake bird which was to bite him because of the fury of a Brahmana boy. Purport. A self-surrendered devotee of the Lord is called Narayana Parayana. Such a person is never afraid of any place or person, not even of death. For him, nothing is as important as the Supreme Lord, and thus he gives equal importance to heaven and hell. He knows well that both heaven and hell are creations of the Lord, and similarly, life and death are different conditions of existence created by the Lord. But in all conditions and in all circumstances, remembrance of Narayana is essential. The Narayana Parayana practices this constantly. Maharaja Parikshit was such a pure devotee. He was wrongfully cursed by an inexperienced son of a Brahmana who was under the influence of Kali, and Maharaja Parikshit took this to be sent by Narayana. He knew that Narayana, Lord Krishna, had saved him when he was born in the womb of his mother. And if he were to be killed by a snake bite, it would also take place by the will of the Lord. The devotee never goes against the will of the Lord. Anything sent by God is a blessing for the devotee. Therefore, Maharaja Parikshit was neither afraid nor bewildered by such things. That is the sign of a pure devotee of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, furthermore, Maharaj Parikshit was always consciously surrendered to Supreme Personality Godhead. This is the most important point here. How Parishad Maharaj is surrendered and what lessons we can learn from this. We should be consciously surrendered. You know, many time we do surrender when there is no other options, like, we are difficult situation, or we are in a very, very bad situation. Then we'll go and, okay, please, Lord, please help me. That's the time we got. No, Parishad Maharaj is not like that. Parishad Maharaj is always surrender, whether good or bad, whatever time, he was always depend on Krishna. That is the most important point. Because generally, I mean, I'm not talking to you and myself, like, so I'm not developed that conscious of surrender. So this is exactly the lesson we have to learn here. We have to always in the Krishna consciousness, not just Krishna consciousness, fully depend on Krishna. That is the most important point. So that's why Prabhupada says Narayana Parayana, whatever it is, it's Narayana or Supreme Lord Krishna. He is my savior. He is my protector. He is only my master. That is the mood I should develop. So that's why Prabhupada says that such personality like Parishit Maharaj, he gives equal importance to hell or heaven. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, whether you put me into under the crush foot or put me anywhere, I'm okay. Or put me into the heaven or hell, I'm equally okay because my only desire to serve you. That is the point. So for them, life or death doesn't make a difference because here life also will serve them. Death also go to some other planet or somewhere go and serve him. That is the only purpose. So that's why devotees always never bother even for liberation because for them only one purpose to serve Krishna. So here what happened to Parishit Maharaj, because we know the pastime of Shringi, Samika Rishi's son. Parishit Maharaj was on a hunting mission. So one day so happened that when he was hunting, he felt thirst. He went and asked for water. Shamika Rishi's ashram. Shamika Rishi was a deep meditation. Of course, this pastime is coming later. So Shamika Rishi was deep meditation. He could not respond. So Parishit Maharaj took a dead snake from there, put it on the neck of that Parishamika Rishi. The Shringi, the young boy who was not there that time and came later, he saw the dead snake on the neck of his father. He cursed, whoever put this dead snake will die within 7 days, the snake bite. Now, the Acharya says that Parishit Maharaj also was not an ordinary person. He could have counter cursed, he could have attacked Shringi because he's a Chakravarti, he is the emperor of the world. But Parishit Maharaj took it as a will of the Lord. Prabhupada writes, is the will of Narayana Parayana, will of the Lord. So here Prabhupada says, the same personality of Godhead who saved me when Ashwatthama released Brahmastra in Uttara's womb. When Uttara came running to Krishna, Krishna, please save. So that time Krishna entered the womb of Uttara and saved Parishit. And now the same Krishna comes in the form of a snake. It's okay. So he has treated as the same. So he thought it's the will of the Lord. So anything sent by Lord is blessings. So this is a lesson we should learn. Sometime when difficulty will come, difficulty is also part of our life. It's a blessings to the Lord. Take that mood, or sometime happiness will come. That is also sent by Krishna. So take it equipoised. You know, both are same. So we don't be excessive happy when some happiness comes. We don't excessive sad when something sadness comes. We take it both Krishna's mercy and carry on the life. So that's why Prabhupada says, therefore Parishit Maharaj was neither afraid nor bewildered by such things. That is a sign of pure devotee. Now as a practice devotees, we should develop this kind of a quality in our life, because in our life also ups and downs will be there. Nothing will be straight. Nothing will be permanent. No happiness will be permanent. No sadness will be permanent. Both are going to change. Like after every winter the summer comes, after every summer winter come. So that's going to happen. And every person who has, every jiva who has taken birth has to die. Every jiva has to died, which take birth unless they go back to Godhead. So that is the point. That's why we should be very, very careful dealing the day-to-day life. Okay, so next sloka, third. Whom I allotted? 3.
I think it is Murli Prabhuji.
If it's not there, somebody can read. No problem.
I will read Mata Prabhu.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Uttradya sarvata sangam vidsata samstita vayaskair jahar sisyo gangayam swam kalevaram. Gangayam swam kalevaram. Translation. Furthermore, after leaving all his associates, the king surrendered himself as a disciple to the son of Vyasa, Sukadeva Goswami, and thus he was able to understand the actual position of the personality of Godhead. Purport. The word Ajita is significant here. The personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is known as Ajita or unconquerable, and he is so in every respect. No one can know his actual position. He is unconquerable by knowledge also. We have heard about his Dhama or place, eternal Goloka Vrindavana, but there are many scholars who interpret this abode is in different ways. But by the grace of a spiritual master like Sukadeva Goswami, unto whom the king gave himself up as a most humble disciple, one is able to understand the actual position of the Lord, his eternal abode, and his transcendental paraphernalia in that Dhamma, or abode. Knowing the transcendental position of the Lord and the transcendental method by which one can approach that transcendental Dhamma, the king was confident about his ultimate destination. And by knowing this, he could leave aside everything material, even his own body, without any difficulty of attachment. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Param Društva Nivartate. One can give up all connection with material attachment when one is able to see the Param or the superior quality of things. From Bhagavad Gita, we understand the quality of the Lord's energy that is superior to the material quality of energy, and by the grace of a bona fide spiritual master like Sukadeva Goswami, it is quite possible to know everything of the superior energy of the Lord, by which the Lord manifests his eternal name, quality, pastimes, paraphernalia, and variegadness. Unless one thoroughly understands the superior or eternal energy
Yeah.
of the Lord, it is not possible to leave the material energy. However, one may theoretically speculate on the true nature of the absolute truth. By the grace of Lord Krishna, Maharaja Parikshit was able to receive the mercy of such a personality as Sukadeva Goswami, and thus he was able to know the actual position of the unconquerable Lord. It is very difficult to find the Lord from the Vedic literatures, but it is very easy to know him by the mercy of a liberated devotee like Sukadeva Goswami.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So furthermore, after leaving all his associates, the king surrendered himself as a disciple to the son of Vyasa, Sukadeva Goswami, and thus he was able to understand the actual position of the personality Godhead. So after being cursed, the message was given to Parishit Maharaj. Parishit Maharaj took it as the will of the Lord. He handed over his kingdom to his son Janamejaya, and he left everything. His wife, army, kingdom, everything went into the bank of Ganga, where Sukadeva Goswami, son of Vyasadeva, just appeared, and all the great sages, including Narada, Vyasa, Brahma, everybody sitting there. Sukadeva Goswami was made to sit on the Vyasasana, and Parishit Maharaj surrendered him and started asking questions. That's where the whole Bhagavatam started. So here Prabhupada refers Supreme Personality God as Ajita. I mean, of course, in the sloka says, Prabhupada explains that he is unconquerable. Supreme Lord cannot be conquered. It cannot be defeated. So, and he is the Supreme Personality. That's why it's called Supreme Personality God. So here Parishit Maharaj also accepts as a humble disciple. So again, lesson for us that Krishna also says, Bhagavad Gita, third chapter, fourth chapter, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam tattvadarshinaha. So if you want to be, good disciple, we should ask questions. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. How? By asking those questions, by, of course, very humble mood, by service. Upadekshantite jnanam tattvadarshi. That tattvadarshi, that jnani will give you jnana, when you surrender and ask very humble mood. So similarly here, Parishit Maharaj goes in front of Sukadeva Goswami, start asking questions. And that discussion went on for 7 days, 7 nights, without hunger, without thirst, without sleep, non-stop, both listener and speaker, both and all assembled devotees. Everybody heard because they released Bhagavatam so nectarian, so that nobody felt thirst, nobody felt hunger, nobody felt sleep. So that is the power of Bhagavatam. So that's why the Prabhupada says here, Parishad Maharaj knew his ultimate destinations. That's the reason he was not at all fearful, not at all afraid, because he knew he is going to go back to Krishna, because he knew Krishna is going to save him. So that's why Prabhupada said, without any difficulty or attachment, because there is no attachment. And the sloka referred here is, I think, not 959, it's 259. Vishaya vinivartante nirharasya dehinaha rasavarjano raso apyasya param drishtva nivartate. So, translation, though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. But seizing such engagements by experiencing higher taste is fixed in consciousness. So, for a higher taste, we give up a smaller taste. Prabhupada's initial days of ISKCON, the hippies were always in high. They wanted to take some drugs and want to be high. Then Prabhupada said, take this mantra, you'll be always high. Higher destination, higher taste. When we take this higher taste, we give up. That's exactly happened. When they got this holy name, they got this Mahaprasad of Krishna, they gave up all their bad habits. They become great Goswamis. From hippies, they become happies. Similarly, in our life also, we should take up Krishna consciousness, which is higher taste. For that sake, many times we'll give up our so much sense gratificated things or small things. Like example, simple example given, a child may be playing with some toy. If given a better toy, that child may give up that toy and take up the better toy. Similarly, we have to give up our the smaller toys, the sense gratification, take up that higher path, which is Krishna consciousness, which is higher taste. So Prabhupada says that from Bhagavad Gita, one can understand the quality of Lord's energy that is superior to the material quality of energy. So superior energy, material energy is always, superior energy is always higher. So we should, aspire to go back to that, supreme abode. That's why Prabhupada says, go back home, back to Godhead. That is our home. So that's where we have to go back. So Prabhupada says, so by the grace of bona fide spiritual master like Sukadeva Goswami, it's quite possible to know everything of the superior energy. So again, from whom we ask, we should ask for a bona fide spiritual master who is in the parampara, who is authorized to give such knowledge, such gurus we should accept. When we accept such gurus, we get knowledge of the Supreme Lord. With that, we can go back home, back to Godhead. Such gurus who give us the pastimes, name, quality, and paraphernalia and variegatedness of the Supreme Lord. When we understand that, our going back home, back to Godhead becomes so easy and guaranteed. That's why Prabhupada given us a simple 16 round chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, attentive chanting, and following the 4 principles. This life itself, we can go back home, back to Godhead. So that is what we should aspire somehow. Or of course, if you don't want to go back, it's fine. But always engage in the service of the Lord. If we always engage in the service of the Lord, Krishna will give right knowledge, right time. Tesha sasadana bhajatam priti purvaka dadami buddhi yogam tam, he says. He'll give you right intelligence, right time to do, so that at the time of death, we can remember him, we can go back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. You can read one more sloka. Who's fourth sloka?
Asha Mataji Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Fourth.
Yeah. Mataji, is it okay to decide?
Hello, Asha Mataji.
She is unmuted, but you are not able to hear.
Oh, yeah, that's what even we are saying. She's
Okay,
unmuted.
somebody read, no problem.
Okay, I'll read Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.18.4. Notasham shloka vartanam Jashtatam tam katamritam Syasambhramo nitkalepi Smaratam tat padambujam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. This was so because those who have dedicated their lives to the transcendental topics of the personality of Godhead, of whom the Vedic hymns sing, and who are constantly engaged in remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, do not run the risk of having misconceptions even at the last moment of their lives. Purport. The highest perfection of life is attained by remembering the transcendental nature of the Lord at the last moment of one's life. This perfection of life is made possible by one who has learned the actual transcendental nature of the Lord from the Vedic hymns sung by a liberated soul like Sukadeva Goswami or someone in that line of disciplic succession. There is no gain in hearing the Vedic hymns from some mental speculator. When the same is heard from an actual self realized soul and is properly understood by service and submission, everything becomes transparently clear. Thus, a submissive disciple is able to live transcendently and continue to the end of life. By scientific adaptation, one is able to remember the Lord even at the end of life, when the power of remembrance is slackened due to dearrangement of bodily membranes. For a common man, it is very difficult to remember things as they are at the time of death. But by the grace of the Lord and his bona fide devotees, the spiritual masters, one can get this opportunity without difficulty, and it was done in the case of Maharaja Parikshit. So here, what they are telling is, it is only due to the grace of the Lord, those who have dedicated their lives to listening to the transcendental topics like Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and all. And also, when we listen to the topics, we should get the knowledge from a self-realized soul, like Sukadeva Goswami, or the gurus who come from the Guru Parampara, because they don't put their own interpretation. They tell the give the knowledge as it is told by the Lord himself. So then when the other mental speculators, what they do is they try to interpret their own way, use their own thoughts, and then they'll start misleading the general public. So as people, we are very for common man, it is very difficult to remember day to day things. And now when the death comes, it is even more difficult at that point of time when memory is less due to old age and so many health issues, that at the end of the time we'll able to remember a Lord or not. So we should continuously start doing this process of chanting and listening to Bhagavatam and all. And then by God's mercy, Krishna's mercy, he will make us remember at the time of going. That is, we may forget, but we should tell that like Krishna should not forget us. At least he will make us remember him, so that we will remember him. So when we do this devotional purpose, Krishna likes his devotees a lot. For him, his devotees are more important than he himself. So at this end point of time when we are living, we should remember Krishna, and that is possible only when we do all these bhakti processes throughout the life. This is what I understood, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Madam. Hare Krishna. So here also Sutta Goswami is saying that do not run the risk of having misconception even at the last moment. So do not take a risk. That's why life should be very, very careful, because the greatest fear for a devotee is not losing any material possessions or wealth or anything. The greatest, not even death. For a devotee, the greatest fear is forgetting Krishna. Even at the last moment, I should not forget Krishna. Krishna, I remember Krishna. Antakalecha mameka smaranamukta kalevaram. Krishna says, one who remembers me at the time of death will come back to me. So I should always remember Krishna. Never forget. That's the risk I should not take. That's why Acharya is very, very, categorically saying that we should practice throughout life practice. We will train our mind and intelligence such a way that only here, Prabhupada says, Shravana, Kirtana, Smaranam. These three things continuously, non-stop should happen. So that I always in the Krishna conscious. That's why Prabhupada established a Krishna conscious, the Association of Krishna Consciousness and International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Just not it's a morning affair or evening affair. It's a throughout 24/7, 365 days. That's why your practice. And we should hear that. Prabhupada says that we should hear like the great personality like Sukadeva Goswami or who are the disciple succession like that. Not from the mental speculator, not from Mayavadis. Today we can see so many things in the YouTube, WhatsApp messages coming. It looks so authentic, but may not be. We should be very, very careful not to hear because they'll have a hidden agenda in that. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says that hearing from Mayavadi is like drinking a milk touched by a poisonous snake. Milk is milk, but as soon as it's touched by poisonous snake, it becomes poisonous. Similarly, these Mayavadis or mental speculator, they may speak Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, but because their consciousness is that everything, knowledge also is contaminated. So we should be very, very careful. And we can hear that and we can understand by service and submission. Otherwise, we cannot understand. That's why bhakti means devotional service. Without service, there is no bhakti. And submission mood, service, they only understand bhakti. Finally, Prabhupada says, for a common man, it is very difficult to remember things as they are at the time of death. But by the grace of the Lord and by the bona fide devotees, the spiritual masters, one can get opportunity without difficulty. There are so many examples that when people are about to die, somebody comes, gives some garland, prasad garland, or shows the photo of the Lord, or somebody sings Hare Krishna mantra, and somehow they make them to remember Krishna so that they can go back to Krishna. This is the mercy of the devotee. This is the mercy of spiritual masters. That's why our life should be such that we always should be surrendered by the devotees. Because at any time death can come to us. So we should be always prepared for it. That's why we should be always surrendered by devotees, always hearing Krishna's holy name, and always seeing the Krishna's beautiful form. With that, anytime even death comes, with the remembering of Krishna, we have every chance of going back to Godhead. I'll stop here now. The devotees can share their comments or feedback if any. Go ahead. Sarup Prabhu, want to say anything? You can unmute yourself, Prabhu. You're muted, yeah. No, you are still muted. Okay. Anybody else want to? Asha Mataji, you can start. Yes, Mataji, go ahead. We are not able to hear Asha Mataji. What about others? I don't know. Bhuvaneshwar Mataji, can you speak? Whether nobody else able to speak, hear me? Can somebody unmute and say?
Yes, Prabhuji.
We are able to hear you,
Yeah.
Prabhuji. We are
Okay.
able to hear you.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Okay. Bhuvaneshwar Mataji, you able to speak? No?
No problem.
Okay. Mariappan Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Today's texts are highlighting how one should surrender to Supreme Lord, and how the last minute of the life should be utilized appropriately. Parikshit Maharaja consciously surrendered, always surrendered to Supreme Lord Krishna. My attitude must follow Parikshit Maharaj in that respect. In spite of receiving the curse of Brahmana boy, Chakravarti Parikshit has taken it as a blessing of Supreme Lord and optimum utilized the opportunity to go back home, go back to Godhead. Every jiva is to go through birth and death cycle until he surrender unconditionally. And Ajita, unconquerable. Supreme Lord is unconquerable, and the Supreme Lord, nobody felt hunger, thirsty, and sleep in Naimisharyam. That is the power of Bhagavatam. Higher taste always supersedes lower taste. Devotees takes Krishna consciousness and Bhagavatam, which is higher taste, leaving lower taste of sense gratification. Do not take risk in the life. Devotees must always practice every moment to remember Supreme Lord Krishna 24/7 throughout their life. This practice only will enable them to go home back to Godhead. Listen to authenticated spiritual masters. Do not follow the wrong guidances and do not be carried away by the materialistic world, and always listen to authenticated spiritual masters. Bhakti means submission. Mercy of devotee and spiritual masters must be optimum utilized. That much I have understood, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. So this 7 days, 7 nights happen in the bank of Ganga, not Naimisharanya. Naimisharanya, second time. The first time Bhagavatam spoken by Sukadeva Goswami to Parishit Maharaj and all the sages. Next, Sutta Goswami, who was there, he repeated the same thing to sages in Naimisharanya, headed by Shanuka Rishi. That's happened many years later in Naimisharanya.
Okay.
Sheshu Prabhu, want to say anything? No? Okay. Uma Shankar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
So,
Krishna.
in this, how to surrender to the Lord, it is demonstrated by Parikshit Maharaj. So, even in the high times of distress, he always believed in the Lord, and he was saved each and every time. When in the womb of Uttara, also he was protected from that fire, and also in after that snake bite, also he was actually completely surrendered to the Lord, and his main thing was to hear from the uh, hear the Bhagavatam. So similarly, so we should also try to hear to these pastimes of the Lord, so that at least by hearing we can get that some kind of namruchi, and we can try to reach the goal.
Hare Krishna. Sridevi Mataji, anything else? Not
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Mataji.
A self-surrendered devotee like Parikshit Maharaj, he is never afraid of death or birth or death. Actually, for such devotees, hell and heaven is also equally important. Death and birth and death, heaven and hell, they are equally important because they're the creations of the Lord. And the Narayana Parayana is constantly practicing the names of Narayana. But that's what Parikshit Maharaj used to do. And he was cursed by inexperienced son of a Brahmana, who is under the influence of Kali. Because of that, he got that curse. But Maharaja Parikshit, he took the death very pleasingly, because this is also the will of the Lord. Because that Lord has given, and he took it. He was not afraid. He took it. So Maharaja Parikshit goes to the bank of Ganges and start asking Sukadeva Goswami about Bhagavatam. There's so many sages, Lord Brahmaji, Naradaji, Vyasa, and so many other sages were there. And he starts asking questions, and this went for 7 days. That's how our Bhagavatam came out. Krishna says at the last days of our lives also, we should remember Krishna. That how it happens from the beginning of our lives, if we practice Krishna consciousness, constantly chanting, hearing Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, etc., and glorifying Lord, then we can remember at the last time, and before death, we can remember the Lord. That's what I understood from
Hare
today's
Krishna
class.
Mataji.
Hare
Satya
Krishna.
Mataji, anything else you want to add?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Mataji.
We should always remember Krishna. Without service, there is no bhakti. That is taken back on Prabhuji.
Okay. Anybody else? Shruti Mataji, go ahead. If you
Nothing, Prabhuji, nothing. Hare Krishna.
Shesha Prabhu, got anything?
Nothing, Prabhuji. So everyone summarized nicely. Yeah, Narayana Parayana. So that is the mood of the devotee. Yeah.
Okay.
Surrender.
We'll stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyo cha patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava
Vaishnavavrinda ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
See you tomorrow, same time.